Yankees fans, let's talk about what's really going on in the Bronx because this team has reached a breaking point. Every season feels like the same movie playing on repeat. Honestly, people are getting tired of it. Aaron Judge, one of the most dominant hitters of this generation, is entering the back half of his career with absolutely nothing to show for it in terms of championships. We're talking about a guy who's rewritten record books, carried lineups on his back, smashed baseballs into orbit, and yet when it comes to October, he's been surrounded by mediocrity. It's not because Judge hasn't performed. It's because the Yankees as an organization have completely lost their edge. Think about what being a Yankee used to mean. It was dominance. It was swagger. It was an expectation that if you wore the pinstripes, you were expected to win it all. But now, it feels like the team is just satisfied with staying relevant. Since Aaron Judge first exploded onto the scene back in 2017, the Yankees have been chasing that old glory, trying to recreate the magic that once made them the most feared franchise in baseball. The problem is they've forgotten how to build a real team. Sure, they've had some star names come and go, and there was excitement when Giancarlo Stanton arrived, but that excitement turned into frustration fast. Injuries, inconsistency, and a lineup that never truly clicked have turned what could have been a historic era into a decade of disappointment. The reality is brutal. It's been 16 long years since the Yankees last lifted a World Series trophy. For a franchise with the most championships in North American sports, that's an eternity. Fans who grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s were spoiled. Now, an entire generation has grown up only knowing heartbreak, false hope, and first-round exits. And what makes it worse is the way the team keeps selling fans the same dream every offseason, promising changes, talking about culture, and then rolling out the same problems year after year. Aaron Judge didn't sign up for this. He became the face of the Yankees because he believed in what this team represented. When he put that captaincy on his chest, he did it with pride. But now, as he stands his mid-30s, he's probably wondering what went wrong. How is it that a franchise with all this money, all this history, and all these resources can't build a proper team around one of the best players in baseball? The issue isn't effort from the players. It's direction from the top. The decisions being made are stale, outdated, and flat out wrong. Aaron Boone, as nice a guy as he might be, just doesn't seem to have that edge a championship manager needs. You can feel it in his press conferences, in his lineup decisions, in the way he handles the bullpen. It's the same story every time the Yankees hit a wall in the postseason. Questionable substitutions, poor timing with pitchers, the same old cliches about trusting the process or believing in the guys in the room. Fans aren't buying that anymore. They're watching other teams, like the Dodgers, the Astros, the Blue Jays, spin smart, manage aggressively, and play with urgency. Meanwhile, the Yankees keep acting like their brand alone is enough to win games. Then there's Brian Cashman. He's been running this front office for decades, and while he deserves credit for past success, it's clear that the game has changed. Other organizations are adapting faster, developing talent better, and building modern teams that actually fit today's baseball. The Yankees, on the other hand, keep trying to copy old blueprints that don't work anymore. Analytics are fine, but when your scouting department hasn't evolved since 2005, when your player development pipeline keeps stalling, and when your big money signings keep underperforming, something is broken. You can see it in the roster construction. The Yankees have power hitters, sure, but where's the balance? Where are the consistent contact hitters, the players who can actually move runners and create pressure? It's the same feast or famine offense every single October. Either they hit 5 home runs and win, or they strike out 15 times and get shut out. It's painful to watch, especially knowing that players like Judge are doing everything they can. He's putting up historic OPS numbers, carrying the team night after night, while the rest of the lineup disappears in crucial moments. Fans are angry, and rightfully so. They've been patient long enough. You can only hear next year so many times before it stops meaning anything. The stadium still fills up, the jerseys still sell, but that's not passion anymore. That's loyalty bordering on heartbreak. Yankee fans don't just want to make the playoffs, they want to win titles. That's the standard. That's the DNA of this team. When you think about the old rosters, the Derek Jeters, the Jorge Posadas, the Andy Pettits, the Alex Rodriguezes, those guys were built to win in October. They had depth, discipline, and leadership from the top down. This current version of the Yankees feels like a collection of parts with no soul, no direction, and no real identity. And it's not just the on-field stuff. There's a cultural shift in the front office. Hal Steinbrenner doesn't have the fire his father had. George would do anything to win, sign anyone, spend whatever it took. Hal, on the other hand, seems more focused on profit margins and staying under tax thresholds than putting together a championship roster. You can't outspend your problems, but when you're the New York Yankees, you can't penny pinch either. You can't play small market baseball while selling big market dreams. What makes it sting even more is watching players like Don Mattingly, who once carried the weight of Yankee failure on his shoulders, find success elsewhere. The idea that a Yankee legend could be celebrating in another uniform while the team he once defined is stuck in mediocrity feels like a cruel twist of fate. The Yankees used to be the team that other franchises feared losing their stars to. Now, they're the team that players use as leverage in negotiations before signing somewhere else. Every time the season ends early, you can feel the frustration boiling over. Social media floods with fans calling for Boone's job, demanding Cashman's resignation, questioning every move from top to bottom. And honestly, can you blame them? It's not just about losing, it's about losing the same way over and over again. The Yankees keep getting eliminated by teams with better preparation, smarter strategies, and more chemistry. The Astros, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, they've all taken turns exposing the same flaws. It's not a fluke anymore. It's a pattern. So here we are again, another October, another heartbreak, and another round of what now? Questions. Free agency looms, and everyone's talking about who's staying, who's leaving, and whether the Yankees will finally make bold moves. But if history tells us anything, fans shouldn't hold their breath. We've seen this story before. The Yankees will talk about evaluating options, improving the roster, making smarter decisions. But unless they change their entire philosophy, nothing will actually change. Aaron Judge deserves better. The fans deserve better. The city of New York deserves better. This isn't about nostalgia or entitlement. It's about living up to what the Yankees are supposed to be, a team that wins, a team that intimidates, a team that sets the standard. Right now, they're falling short of all that. And until something truly changes from the top down, until leadership stops settling for mediocrity, this cycle of disappointment is going to keep spinning. That's the harsh truth about the Yankees right now. They've lost their identity. The talent is there. The passion from the fans is there. But the leadership, the vision, and the killer instinct that once defined this franchise, it's all missing. And unless they find a way to bring that back, we're going to keep having this same conversation year after year, wondering how one of baseball's greatest players can still be ringless in pinstripes. And as we look ahead to what's next for the Yankees, the questions keep piling up. How do you rebuild a team that seems stuck between eras? You've got Aaron Judge, still in his prime in terms of skill, but aging in terms of opportunity. He's already given everything to this team. Record-breaking home runs, jaw-dropping defensive plays, leadership in the clubhouse. But when it comes to October, he's been met with repeated failure. And it's not his fault. The team around him isn't constructed to win a World Series, not with the same blueprint that used to dominate the league. The roster lacks depth, balance, and consistency. Yes, you can put together a lineup with massive power, but baseball isn't just about hitting home runs. It's about strategy, it's about situational hitting, it's about players who can move the runners, set the table, and execute under pressure. The Yankees don't have that anymore. Look at the supporting cast. Giancarlo Stanton has shown flashes of brilliance, but injuries and inconsistency have held him back. The so-called contact hitters that should complement Judge are either gone, aging, or underperforming. There's no Jeter. There's no Damon. There's no consistent presence that can take the pressure off the superstar. And when the lineup goes cold in October, that pressure falls entirely on Judge, and he's human. No one can carry a team alone in baseball, not even a player as legendary as Aaron Judge. Yet every October, It seems like he's left to fend for himself against the best teams the league has to offer. Management has only compounded the problem. Aaron Boone, despite the nice guy image, has proven time and time again that he lacks the tactical acumen to guide a team through the postseason. His bullpen decisions, lineup choices, and substitutions have been questionable at best and disastrous at worst. Fans see the patterns, the hesitation, the overthinking, the inability to adapt in high-pressure moments, and they're frustrated. And why shouldn't they be? This is the Yankees, a team with a history of winning, a fan base that expects excellence, and one of the most talented rosters in the league on paper. Yet time and again, they underperform when it matters most. And then there's Brian Cashman. While he's been a steady hand in the past, the modern game has evolved faster than his approach. Other teams are smarter, leaner, and more agile in how they construct their rosters. The Yankees have the money and the market to do the same, yet they often come up short because of outdated methods and a reluctance to spend where it matters most. It's frustrating because you can see what could be. The blueprint is right there, but the team never executes it. Instead, we get half measures, incomplete lineups, and failed experiments that end in disappointment. Even the front office culture has shifted. Gone are the days of George Steinbrenner, a man who would do whatever it took to win. Hal Steinbrenner doesn't carry that same drive. He's more cautious, more focused on profit margins, and that trickles down into every decision the Yankees make. The team doesn't feel like it's playing to win the World Series. It feels like it's playing not to lose money. And when your star player is Aaron Judge, the guy carrying your franchise on his back, that philosophy is unacceptable. Judge deserves to be surrounded by elite talent, not mediocre pieces and inconsistent performers. The free agency period ahead could be a chance to correct some of these issues, but history suggests caution. The Yankees have a habit of talking big and executing small. Will they spend on pitching to fix the bullpen? Will they add reliable offensive pieces to support Judge in the lineup? Will they commit to a long-term plan at first base and catcher? Or will we see the same short-term stopgaps we've grown frustrated with? There's a lot at stake because this isn't just about one season. It's about Judge's legacy and the future of the franchise. If the Yankees fail again, we may be looking at a situation where one of the game's greats never sees a championship in pinstripes, and that's a legacy the organization cannot afford to tarnish. It's not just the big names either. Role players like Austin Wells, Ben Rice, and other young talents need to step up, but development is slow, inconsistent, and often mismanaged. You see the stats, you see the potential, but the coaching and the roster decisions rarely maximize it. It's a problem that has been festering for years. Even the bullpen, a cornerstone of October's success, is mismanaged, underdeveloped, and filled with players who can't be trusted in high-leverage moments. Without fixing that, no matter what else happens, the Yankees are still going to fall short when it counts. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. In what could become one of the most talked about moves of the season, whispers from inside Major League Baseball are pointing toward a shocking development. Dylan Cease, the ace fireballer once synonymous with the Chicago White Sox, may be on his way to the New York Yankees. Sources close to the matter describe the potential deal as a lightning-fast exchange, the kind of sudden blockbuster that leaves fans and pundits scrambling for details. Cease, who has dazzled with a mix of high 90s fastballs and sharp breaking pitches, has long been on the radar of clubs hunting for a frontline starter. His combination of strikeout ability and resilience on the mound has made him a coveted asset, and the Yankees, who have been searching for rotation stability, seem ready to make a decisive move. Industry insiders suggest that the swap could happen almost overnight, catching both markets and social media by surprise. While the exact details of the trade remain murky, speculation is rife about who the Yankees might be sending in return. Some whispers hint at a package of promising prospects. Others suggest a veteran hitter could be involved, though nothing has been confirmed. What is clear is that Dylan Cease's potential arrival in the Bronx would instantly shift the dynamics of the AL East, giving New York a formidable weapon for the stretch run. Fans are already buzzing, with social media timelines exploding with what-if scenarios. Could Cease become the missing piece that finally solidifies the Yankees' pitching staff? Can he handle the intense scrutiny of pinstripe life, where every start is analyzed down to the last pitch? Only time will tell, but the rumor alone has created an electrifying atmosphere reminiscent of classic Yankees trade season drama. One thing is certain. If this deal goes through, the baseball world will be watching. From Chicago to New York, the chatter is impossible to ignore, and Dylan Cease's name has become the centerpiece of what might be the fastest-moving story of the offseason. Whether it's a fleeting rumor or a prelude to a seismic shakeup, the mere idea of Cease in pinstripes is enough to send shockwaves through the league. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.